Hello, Claudio. So I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes and let people jump on. Because I think I'm a few minutes, I want to say I'm a few minutes early. I guess I could grab my other phone and check. Yeah, so we've got about 4 minutes until noon. So I'll give people a little bit of time to kind of join in. I'm hoping this camera setup will work today. Welcome. Just giving it a few more minutes to let everybody jump on. I hope everybody's having a great day. I might rotate this. Let me see if I can do it this way so it's not. Oh, okay, I see. Okay. There we go. All right, so we've got a few people on. For anybody that just jumped on, I'm going to give it a few more minutes and let everybody join. Oh, maybe I should put, I don't know. Hopefully this camera angle will work okay for everybody to kind of see. So I'll work on it right here. My board is like all distorted. I like travel with it and then it gets so hot out here. Anytime I leave it in the car, it just gets like all wavy and everything. But yeah, so we have a few more minutes. So I'll start probably like right at noon. That way everybody gets a moment to jump on. If anyone has any questions for me now, if you just have any questions in general about fondant or anything that you want to ask, let me know. So, hello, Mandy. Everybody's jumping on. We've got a few more minutes. I let everybody know if you have any questions or anything before the class starts, just let me know. And it doesn't have to be just related to this stuff. It could be related to anything fondant. Since we have a few minutes, just let me know. Let's see. Yeah. Hopefully everybody's having a really great day. And yeah, 11:58. So just 2 more minutes and we'll get started. Okay. So like 1 more minute, we'll get started. I'll start getting my color together. Oh no. My color. Oh my God. I'm telling you, luster dust, it gets on everything. It's all over my green. Well, my zombie bear is going to be not so scary. Oh my gosh. It got on everything yesterday and I cannot. I don't know. I try to get it off, but yikes. Oh well. What can you do? All right. Well, I mixed it back together, so it's still all glittery. Let's see. So it is noon. So we'll get started. So I know a lot of people like measure out their fondant and stuff, I kind of eyeballed it, and now I'm thinking probably shouldn't have done that, but this should be plenty to create the teddy bear with. So basically we're just going to do, so I'm taking a ball, trying to think, I just want to make sure that I'm going to have enough. Yeah, so what would you say this size is? Like almost like a racquetball size? If we're going off of size. So basically what you want to do anytime you're working with, let me back it up a little bit. All right, so anytime you're working with fondant to create figures, you need to make sure that you roll, get it really workable, kneading it first, and then roll until it's smooth all of the way around. So like it should be a smooth ball. There shouldn't be like, if you have, like let's say I just did this and then I rolled it a little bit, where you have all of these seams and stuff, that's going to show up in your work. You can't have that. So you need to roll it, and it just takes a lot of patience. You can put a little bit of like Crisco or vegetable shortening on your hands and roll it until you get it smooth, but you want it to be smooth. So for the body, we're just going to kind of, you can kind of see what I'm doing right here. It's just like, oh, see, and there are some seams here. Hold on, there we go. Okay. So you're just going to kind of roll it almost like a oval, sort of like a weird potato kind of. So always put like a little bit of an indent before I place it down, because it's going to kind of, let's see, there we go. So you just want to, that's what I get for not being patient. I have my own seams after I just said, so let me roll that again really quick. So again, roll it, use patience, to get all of those seams to kind of go away, disappear. There we go. Okay, I think this is good. Okay, so then like I said, you're kind of rolling like almost an oval shape. And then I usually put like just kind of a little bit, my last indent was a little bit much, but just a little bit of an indent, because when I press it down, I want, trying to make sure that should be fine. Let me think about this really quick. I want to make sure I don't make the body too big, because the head's going to be about this big. I'm trying to make sure that I have enough fondant for all of my pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to roll it out again really quick. I'm just making it a little bit smaller. That way I have enough for the head and the limbs and all of the body parts. Okay, so again, oval, and you're going to press it down. And I always like press in the sides, kind of like where the top segment, the bottom segment. And then I like to go in with a tool, and I like to add just a little bit of detail where like creases would be when the teddy bear is like sitting down. Okay. I will play around with it more as we go. I'm just going to smooth these out. I don't want them quite as... There we go. All right, and then from there, you're just gonna, let me bring it closer, there we go. You're gonna start on your feet, and then you can work your way up. So usually start with your feet, and then you can add arms. And you wanna, I think the biggest mistake a lot of people make is attaching the head when the body hasn't dried. So if you attach the head, like for example, my fondant is very, it's not very firm. So I'm gonna, like, while I'm working on the body, I'll let it dry. And then I might just have to show you guys kind of what it will look like when it sets, but then obviously I wouldn't put it on. So I think the second biggest mistake that a lot of people make is making sure that your body has symmetry to it. So like your feet aren't too big. I'm trying to make sure that they're not too small. Like these look a little bit on the small side. So basically what you want to do is take, so I'm taking about this much fondant, and then you roll it into almost like a cone. And then you're going to press, so like that. Or you know what, 1 second. Okay. There we go. Okay. So you're going to press that up. And then what I'll do is I always size it first before I actually place it on. So I want the feet. There we go. Like that. There we go. That looks good. And I should be wrapping my fondant each time before I actually start placing things on. Oh, I forgot to get my, where did I put my water? 1 second. Okay, and to attach your pieces, you can use water, you can use edible glue. I got a bunch of luster dust in my edible glue yesterday, so I am just gonna use just some old-fashioned water on with a small little paintbrush. And even though it's like already adhering because it's just so soft, you still want to add that. It'll help it. Let's actually bring it a little bit more forward. There we go. Okay. And then any like fingerprints and stuff, usually I work with gloves like I said, but all of this stuff is tutorial stuff and I just don't want to, I don't know why, but I'm guessing because of COVID, but I don't know if anyone has bought any boxes of non-latex gloves lately, but it's really expensive. I went to the store the other day and they used to be $30 when I was buying them, like towards like maybe like a few months ago, and now they're $40. So yeah, I'm gonna try not to waste all my gloves. All right, so then you're just gonna kind of repeat the process. I always match them up because again, I don't measure out. I don't measure out my fondant. Reconnect. Can everybody, if anyone on here can hear me, can you just let me know if you can like actually hear me and if it's going through? Okay, for some reason, Facebook is telling me it can't connect. And this leg is a little bit thicker, so what I'm going to do is just go in and cut it down a little bit. All right, so again, go in, just add a little bit of water here, and that's going to help. So those are the feet. And one other thing, you know what I forgot I was doing too? Before it starts to dry out, if you have a tool like this, you can do stitching. And I completely forgot. That's what I wanted to do. I want to do stitching because I am going to. So always try to do a little bit to add some definition. So I kind of do it at almost like an angle. And then for the legs, I like to go around the back to the front. Just make sure that yours line up. And then we'll go. There we go. So add all the stitching in. So then you've got your legs on, and you can start kind of adding. I think what I might do is add some detail at this point so that I can focus on giving some time to the body and also to the legs too, because my fondant is really soft. I had to add a lot of color because I had such a big piece. So I'll kind of show you. we'll do some of his, to make it look like he has like a little bit of a tear, and then like some of the stuffing is coming out. So to go in, you're just gonna, wherever you want to put it, we'll kind of make it, it's gonna be like a little tear. So I use this tool to create that, and then we're gonna go in with this tool and kind of scoop, like go in very gently, but kind of scoop outwards, and then it'll actually look like it's his, then we're gonna scoop outwards. There we go. And then again, in and pull it outwards. And you can kind of like rough it up, because obviously if it was like a tear, it's not gonna look like that pretty. Just however you want to do that. There we go. Maybe pull some away like that. There we go. Let me see if I can get this camera a little bit closer so you can really see the detail. There we go. Okay, so again, pull, 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 pull. There we go. All right, and then how I create, at least this is how I have done it before. I haven't done this technique in a while, but to kind of create the fluff coming out. So put a little bit, let me add a little bit of water in here so it stays. So just a little bit of water. And then kind of add one piece. This doesn't have to be all that great, but I add a little bit of texture with the back of with the back end of the paintbrush. And then I just form a bunch of little balls. Okay, so, and then I pull like the little, like I kind of like create little strings off of it to add more of that like realistic look. Like cotton when it starts to pull. And then just go in and do that. So you just add a bunch of little balls. And you can add more water if you need. My fondant is really soft. This is my Fondex fondant. And I love it because it's so soft that you can use it for pretty much anything, covering your cakes. But then you can also add like Tylos and stuff to, I'm gonna make a couple more of these like little strings to kind of come out. I want it to look, there we go. You know, you want it to look like actual, and not all of them have to be balls. They can kind of be, you know, roughed up a little bit, but you get the point. Just go in and add as much detail, you know, as you want. And then you can always go in and even, like, that's not what I want. There we go. But just so it kind of gives that more realistic effect to it. Different pieces kind of coming out and pull it out. I'm just gonna add one more piece, and then we'll get back to kind of adding more detail to the bear. There we go. Okay, so now that we have that, we're gonna go in and add arms, and then we'll start working on the head. Nice. And you can add even, I was gonna say too, like what I should have done is either made like a lighter or darker color of this. And I like to add like patchwork on to the bear as well, which I can probably add once we're, you know, done with the basics of the teddy bear, do that to add on. I'll probably sit here and just sit and add on detail. And then that way, anyone that wants to hang out longer, if you have time, or anybody that wants to watch this again later, then you can kind of see like really adding some really cool detail. So again, just kind of the same technique. We're just rolling out, pointed towards the end, kind of like a cone almost. I'm thinking this, oh yeah, that's gonna be way too big. And you'll know, you can kind of look at it, like gauge it, and if you think it looks too big or too small, just redo it. Okay, so this looks about better. So again, just rolling it out, kind of just prepping it to put on place. But again, I'm going to look and make sure. So even this almost really looks, we'll just cut it down at this point. So let me show you how I cut it down. So I just use my super cheap fondant tools. I got these on like Amazon or something. Just make sure if you do that, like go through it and smooth it out, because sometimes it makes it look a little rough. Okay. So now that we have that, and you can go in and add kind of any, or make your details, you can add in more details, is what I was trying to say. But I'm just trying to do it kind of simple so people get the point, and then for the rest of you that, you know, want to add even more details, you can always go in, you know, when you practice. Like there's infinite amounts of detail that you can add to all these figures. And really, once you have the basics down for like structure of how to create any of these, you can create so many different animals like unicorns. And the first one I ever made was a teddy bear. And since then I've made like all kinds of animals, so many different animals for various clients, or for myself, or sometimes I just play around and make them for the kids. Okay, so then go in, and I do want to add, before it dries again, you want to make sure that you add sorry you guys, I'm like redoing all of these, but just because usually my figures are a little bit smaller than this, so sometimes when I do bigger ones, it takes a little bit of sizing it appropriately to make sure that it looks right. But I just want to make sure that it looks nice and you guys kind of get the idea. Yeah, because the arm should be, and it's already sticky, so you have to be careful when you're replacing. There we go. Now I'll go back in and fix that in the back. There we go. So then I want to add stitching again around the back to the front, and then just again make sure that it lines up. Actually move that out a little bit. There we go. There we go. So just make another arm. Trying to think if I could do this one a little bit differently. Maybe have his arm in the back. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Sorry about that, I had to sneeze. Okay, so then we'll just add that back there. Okay, and then we're gonna start on the head. I'm actually gonna push, let me see if I can push push this back or if it's kind of set on my side. I don't want to mess it up. Like exactly like what I just did. I didn't want to do that. But that's okay. So we'll let it set there and I'll just kind of move that over. I can show you guys making the teddy bear's head. All right, so for the head, you wanna again, same as with the body where you want to really get in and make sure that you smooth out because, you know, your face is, especially with the head, like that's where where a lot of people are going to look like right away. So you really want to make sure that it's nice and smooth and workable. Just, okay. And for the size, that's kind of big. You can kind of see, I think that's going to be a little bit big, so I'll take a little bit away from that. Okay. So, and it's not quite like a circle. I feel like when I do my figures for their heads, it's more of like a, I just realized I didn't mix my color all the way. There we go. So like that should be good. Okay. So to work on the head, so usually what I do is I have this like foam. Oh, there it is. I was looking everywhere for it and it was right here. So don't mind that this one, I accidentally cut through it. But if you have these foam pieces to place your head on top of while you work on it, that way it doesn't, usually if you lay it like flat on this hard surface, it's going to kind of like implode on itself. So let me see if I can get this above. There we go. You can see me working on the detail for the teddy bear. All right, so we'll make like his little mouthpiece. Oh, you know what I forgot? Again, I forgot to do it. The stitching. Hold on, I have to like look at it. And then do the same to the back. Just be careful you don't mess up the work you've already created. Okay. So the stitching. And teddy bears, they always have that like little piece on the front. Right here. Just kind of smush it down, and then I'm gonna add once again just the stitching detail to match. Be sure to line it up. There we go. I'm trying to think of what I was doing right now. Oh, I was gonna get this out. Okay. So or I'll add the ears first, then I'll start adding all the detail. Like I'll add all the basic details first, and then I'll add like more of the zombie detail. So then for ears, I'll kind of show you. You just want to roll a ball, and then usually what I do is I just kind of flatten it with my, don't mind all the color that's on my fingers, flatten it out with my finger to almost create kind of where you can see like that indent. Okay, and then I just want to try to make sure I cut it evenly. So once you've got it cut, then you want to pinch in on the inside. And then I'm just going to press it down some more because I'm thinking these might be a little bit small. Maybe not. No, that should be it. I think that'll be okay. So indent with your finger. And oh, for anybody that joined in after I was explaining, I realized that my luster dust got everywhere. So my zombie bear has a little bit of a, like a glow to him. A little bit of a, okay. So for the ears, no, see, I don't like that. Let's redo this. There we go. I'm just going to make his ears big. So this is like the same piece, but all together as one big piece. And then just cut off a little bit from the end. There we go. Hopefully that will hold better. And just a little bit of water. A little bit of water goes a long way. I might even need, I'm going to use these cotton balls to kind of hold up his ears for now. It looks forward, but once it starts, it's gonna fall into itself. But there, let's do this. There we go. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay. So then just repeat the same process for the other ear. Make sure that's about the same size. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit more of a cotton ball. Just kind of hold up the ear while it dries. There we go. Okay. Now for the indent for his nose. I'm trying to think. I always use something and I can't think of what it is that I use. But so here we're going to add the nose. So just make sure it's even on both sides, but it kind of is like almost like a triangular shape. So this is where we're going to place the nose once we create it. I've got a little bit of black fondant that I'm going to put in place for the nose. So just a little piece of black fondant. And again, just roll out. This one was from like extra from a while ago, so I just want to make sure that it's workable and it looks smooth once I add it on. Okay, so once you roll it into a ball, you're gonna kind of just pinch that and then press, and it's gonna look sort of like that. There we go. That. And you just place it on and just fit it in. It doesn't have to be, you know, perfect, but there you go. Hopefully you can see that. So then we've got that placed, the nose placed. And for one of the eyes, what I want to do is just do a stitched mark. So like a closed up eye, so like an X. So I'm just gonna do that. And then you just want to create really thin pieces with the ends being, I'll show you what I mean. So the ends will be the smallest because that's like kind of where they're gonna go in at. That's a little too long, so let me just, there we go. And go in with like this tool, and you're just gonna create the hole mark where you press it in, and that's gonna hold it in place as well. And then just go along with your other line that you created with the water. Here we go. That might be a little big. There we go. All right, and then again, just same process. You're just gonna go in, press it in, and same with this side. So one stitched eye, and then the other will make into a button. And you're just gonna take some fondant, roll it into some black fondant, roll it into a ball. And then I've got, my X-Acto knife just happens to have like the same kind of size. Just go in with something with a flat end, circular end, and push in to make it look like a button. And then you can just add the rest of the button details. So go in, you want 4 of the holes like you would have on a button. There we go. And I'll try to bring it up closer for you to see. You can kind of see, so that there's your button for the other eye. And again, I just a little bit of water to place it on, and it will stick to itself. And then I was thinking I'm gonna do some stitching for the mouth as well. So you know what we should have done? I might actually remove one of the ears, this one, because one, I don't really like how it shapes, but I was thinking I would just make a slit in the top and make it look like stuffing is coming out from the top as well. So for the face, we're just gonna do a similar kind of like a stitching technique kind of to that. I'm gonna do almost like a zigzag pattern. I've never tried this before, but I'm just, in my mind, I'm thinking that that will probably work best. So just, you know, roll out a thin piece, X-Acto knife, Let's go in and cut that. Ooh, be careful. I always place my tools like right next to my pieces. And also, if you can see, and this is a perfect example of what I was talking about, is having to wait until your piece starts to dry to add. If you add like gum paste or something, then you should be able to have a piece that is sturdy enough to start adding the other pieces. But due to the sizing that I decided to make, I just thought it would be easier to see the details if I made a larger piece. Start right here. But you need to be patient, especially if you're just using fondant. And like, let's say for example, like when I first started, I didn't know of Tylos or CMC or any of those things. And you know, I just had to be old school patient and wait for my pieces to dry before I was able to move on to like my next step. So it's just really important, you know, just be patient. Be patient with your pieces. That way you avoid mistakes like that. And this is just gonna look like it started to come out right there. I'll add one more detail for that to make it look like this one maybe snapped a little bit. There we go. So you can kind of see his head. And we'll actually go in and remove, we're gonna remove this ear. Ooh, the cotton ball got stuck. So we're gonna remove that ear and go back in with the same process that I used earlier. Okay, I tilt it up, but with my X-Acto knife, I'm just gonna go in where his ear would have been, and let me get my tool to kind of pull out that. And kind of create. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I think I was saying that earlier. It's like, you know, this, the more realistic, rustic looking you can make it look. If you have it all perfect and then it's like supposed to be the zombie bear, it just doesn't really make sense. We'll even add kind of like a little rip there. Okay. So then we'll go in and add some of the, there we go. Do one more. All right, so then once you have all the detail on your head that you want, and your body, for anybody just tuning in, we've got the body, and what I was explaining to everyone is, you know, be really patient. My fondant is very soft, and I should have given it more time to firm up before I started adding my pieces, because I was doing a little bit larger of a piece for this one. So I'm going to show you the process of what you'll do to get your head in place. But I will say this, I probably am going to have to wait until my teddy bear head has dried to actually be able to attach it. But I will show you. So what I do is, for any pieces that are larger than like maybe, let me think here. So this is going to be larger than 3. So most of my pieces, I would say, stand about 3 inches tall, like most of my little characters, because usually it's a lot of like little characters together, or like on a small cake or something. So for like larger ones like this that have more weight to them, I am going to add 2 skewers for head support, because if you add 1, it may not fully support it how it should. So I put 2 skewers next to each other, press it all the way straight down. See if I can scoop this over. There we go. So press it straight down, and this will catch the weight of the head. And I've got my that I had grabbed. Oh yeah, here they are. Okay, so my wire cutters, and you want it to go in about half of this head so that it will support the weight. So there we go. So then what we'll do is, once the head is dry, you just place it like right on top. So right on top of the skewers. But for right now, it's way too soft for me to add. So we've got to give it a little bit of time. Yeah. So we'll give it a little bit of time, but there's that. So you kind of have like an idea. And you can use the same technique for pretty much any type of character or thing that you want to make. You know, it's all in the same, like anything that's just like a little sitting like animal or character. Yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you, everybody. It's been a lot of fun doing all the tutorials. I will take pictures of this and add it as soon as my head dries, which with how big this one is, it might be a while. So it might be maybe like tonight or tomorrow, maybe even later in the day tomorrow. It just kind of depends. So once I do get it all together and fitted, I will, oh, thanks, Tia. Look. And I recorded, and I'm gonna share. I was telling everybody that my fondant is way too soft for me to place the head on yet. So I placed the support, and as soon as I am able, once it's dry, probably like tomorrow, then I can place the head on top. So yeah, you guys, I've really enjoyed this whole week of tutorials. I am going to be creating some more tutorials coming up for hopefully for Thanksgiving, although November's already starting to book up for me, so we'll kind of see. But I don't have anything on the books for December, specifically for the reason that generally I don't take on a lot of customs during December. And I would really like to do another full week of tutorials in December, like very, very early December, to get people kind of going, or maybe even, I'll have to look at my books, maybe the end of November to really get a kickstart on December. And then that way people have lots of fun things. I want to do more of like the cakesicles, but like really cute for Christmas, and like various fondant things for Christmas. So I hope everybody looks forward to it. And I'll keep you guys posted with the schedule for all of that as it gets closer. But I hope everybody's enjoyed this week. I really appreciate, I know it's been kind of crazy and hectic, and it didn't quite go as planned, but I feel like this is setting me up for future tutorials. because I've never really done this before. I've done tutorials kind of like on the fly, but never where I've like scheduled them out and planned. So it was a learning curve for me. So thank you all for being so patient. Hi, Monique. Thank you all for being patient, for following along. I hope everybody's really, really enjoyed it. As soon as I can get the head on without it smushing, I will add it on and take pictures for all of you so that you can see it all together. Again, thank you all so much, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.